How many times a day do you scroll on Facebook or TikTok looking at random posts or pictures of others or watching videos of people you don't know? Yesterday, I spent 3 hours on Facebook. Why do we spend so much time adding, liking, scrolling, watching, and tweeting on our devices when we have real people right in front of us to interact with? If we spent less time on social media, we would have more time to be social with the people who are important to us. I am going to tell you about how social media disconnects and isolates us from the world around us, how being less dependent on social media is good for us, and how we can accomplish that. Sorry, I was checking my Instagram. The more we use social media, we begin to feel more disconnected and isolated from the world around us and from ourselves. According to Baylor University Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, studies have shown that people who spend a lot of time on social media are at least 2 times more likely to feel socially isolated. Whether we're at home, in between classes, at school, on break at work, or even in line at the grocery store, when we stare at our phones, we are losing the opportunity to have a real social interaction. Dr. Shannon Papito is a clinical psychologist at the Baylor University Medical Center, and she states that social media is greatly affecting the psychological and social development of children. Children need multidimensional stimulation and socialization to promote healthy neuroconnections and functioning in the brain. Also, according to the Journal of Consumer Behavior, research shows that loneliness and depression may be linked to social media use. On an episode of Dr. Phil, he talks about how our interpersonal skills, spelling, and grammar are declining because of lack of use due to everything being electronic. This episode was filmed during the pandemic, so ironically, all his guests on the show appeared through video. He asked everyone how much time they spend plugged into their devices each day, and out of 40 people, almost half said they spend about 8 hours on some sort of electronic device. He points out that the time spent on these devices is time not spent hanging out with real people. Dr. Phil asks us to imagine how we would feel if all of our devices were locked in a room for 30 days and we couldn't use them. Many of us would feel nervous, anxious, and may even have withdrawals. In the DSM, a handbook used by health professionals to diagnose mental disorders, putting in a diagnosis for addiction to the internet has been considered. I don't think social media will be going anywhere anytime soon, but we could be. Even though social media is a permanent part of our lives, we can learn to be less dependent upon it and embrace the human experience that we are missing out on. Spending less time on social media frees up time that could be spent doing something productive or making meaningful connections with the people around us. We could do this by turning off notifications for certain apps like Facebook. There are limits we can set on our phones to let us know when we have spent a certain amount of time on an app. We could also delete apps that we don't use often or ones that we really just don't need. According to Berkeley Executive Education, we are meant to connect with each other, and it is in our nature to build relationships. Research has shown that the psychological and physical health benefits of social contact are so great that they can even outweigh the harmful effects of other risk factors and boost life expectancy. So what can we do to take the social out of social media? When we go out to dinner with our friends or families and everybody is looking at their phones instead of talking to each other, we are unknowingly showing others that they are less important than what we are looking at on our screens. Imagine these family dinners without screens. Imagine face-to-face conversation and smiling faces. Imagine having better relationships and more real communication. Leave your phone at home or in the car. Try to make a habit out of not carrying your phone from room to room while you're at home. Talk to the person in line ahead of you at the grocery store. Taking small steps towards engaging less with social media can create big changes in the way we interact with each other. Today, I have told you about how social media can take over our social lives, why we should spend more time off social media, and how to do that. Forget your phone at home. Chances are you won't need it anyways. Let's give others our full attention and the social interaction that we all crave. Thank you.